Hey everybody, Shay Portnoy here. We are really excited to get started here in just a couple of minutes. We are live, reporting live from Grand Mortgage Outpost on the south side of Jacksonville today. It's a beautiful Friday, and we're going to get started here in just a couple of minutes. So thank you for joining. Feel free to chat in the box to the right and say hello if you feel so inclined. We'll be getting started in just a couple minutes. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining. Just wanted to find out what friends are doing this weekend. We have a lot of plans, I'm sure. It's a beautiful sunny weekend here in Northeast Florida. I'm actually going to my niece's recital, their first dance recital. They're just 4 years old, and they're doing I believe Kate is doing a tap routine, and Emerson, I'm sure, is doing some sort of interpretive or modern dance. I think it should be quite a show, and that's what I'm up to this weekend. My guest, Dane Addison, is sitting here with me. Actually, was gracious enough to let us use his office for space as we record today's webinar. What are you up to this weekend, Dane?
I think I'm going to, as long as it's nice out, go on a bike ride around the beach, maybe go to the beach as well for a while and get a couple workouts in, but just kind of hang out, chill weekend.
I love it. I love it. I always enjoy going to the beach during the summer, even not in the summer. I like going out to the beach during the winter time when not many people are there, but it's still kind of sunny and bright. So let's go ahead and get started. We have a bunch of people who have joined, so I just wanted to give people a couple minutes in case they were joining late. And if you want to tweet, I don't know if we have a lot of Twitter users out there. I put our handles up on the screen, so you should be able to connect with us on Twitter. You can also share this link to this Crowdcast. It's basically, as you can see, a Google Hangout, and Crowdcast allows you to share on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Google Plus what you're up to. So if you want to share the short link to this webinar, feel free to do that. It'll also be posted as a YouTube video. So if you are not joining us live, hopefully you're seeing this via YouTube and you can still get some of the great information that we're here to have today. I am really, really, really excited. I'll show you my face live at the end. Promise, we are here live. I just want to make sure everything's working properly and we're having a great time here talking about what it's like to be a first-time home buyer. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit the ground running. Let's have some fun. Actually, oh no, that's the next one. We want to talk about how to buy your first home without breaking the bank. So most people who are first-time home buyers, there's a lot of things to keep track of in your mind. There's a lot of worry, a lot of grief and frustration and sad mojo and sad feelings because it's just a lot to handle and a lot to deal with. So today we're going to help make everything crystal clear and make it so that you can understand some of the awesome programs that are out there where you don't have to go broke trying to find a house to live in. So we are targeting first-time homebuyers right now in terms of who we're talking to today. But even if you are not a first-time homebuyer and you want to share your experience of what it was like when you were a first-time homebuyer, I'm happy to hear kind of how that experience went for you and how you can help other people who, you know, give them those words of wisdom of things you wish you knew before you bought your first home. So before we start, let's just have a couple of housekeeping. Both Dane and I have our phones with us today. We're going to turn them upside down. I know that that is tough to do and difficult. You kind of don't ever want to turn your phone and not see the notifications. Maybe you're on Candy Crush really killing it, or cruising on Instagram or Facebook. Just turn off those distractions for the next couple minutes. We are going to bring you some great stuff to take notes about, so feel free to write down some of your notes and questions. If you don't want to chat them into the box on the right side of the screen, you can just jot them down and email them over to us at the end of the presentation. We're happy to talk you through any specific things that you may have on your mind when it comes to home buying. Like I said, we're going to do the question and answer at the end, and we'll leave some time for everybody's questions as they come in. So if it's something that is like earth-shattering, I will definitely stop in the middle and help you out. If you're having technological issues, let me know if you cannot hear me. If you can, please just type in yes in the chat box. Make sure that all the sound and everything is working properly. Because my phone is turned off, I won't receive any text over this time. So if you want to text me something funny, go ahead and do it right now and then turn your phone over too. Very liberating. All right, so I told you I'd show you a video of me and Dane. We're ready to get started. I'm the little puppy dog on the right. I think, Dane, that's you on the left. Am I right?
Yeah, it looks like
I'm a big fan of TGIF. I send out emails every Friday to my people, my clients and my friends and my contacts. I just love Fridays. They're my favorite day of the week. You kind of wrap up things at the office. You get done. I find that I get so much done on Fridays because I'm ready to just hit it and run. I used to do, when I worked at investment bank, I used to send out YouTube videos every Friday in the morning just to get people jazzed and ready for the weekend. So hopefully everybody's pumped and excited and ready to learn some and also have fun. We want this to be very interactive and educational, but not boring. I watch a lot of webinars. Some of them are good, some of them are not so good. So hopefully this one is one of the good ones. Let's start with today's goal. I want to help you learn the top strategies of home buying. There's a lot to know, and it's a huge orchestra in buying a house. Selling a house sometimes is more emotional because you've lived there. You're worrying about, if you're getting top dollar for your investment. You're worrying about what you're going to do next if you're moving or downsizing, or maybe you're upgrading or building a new house. But specifically about being a buyer, there's a lot of key things that you should remember as you're going through the process. And it's hard to stay organized if you don't have a quarterback or somebody in your camp taking care of you and making sure you're doing the right things at the right times. then it could get more challenging and more difficult as you go through the process. You don't want to start thinking about furniture and appliances before you even qualify for a loan. Okay, so I know a lot of people like to jump ahead and picture themselves in a house and think about, oh, H.H. Gregg has a sale right now on appliances, but you want to make sure that you're looking at the whole picture and have somebody in your corner helping you through step by step in a logical way. So it is a very emotional time. It's a very exciting time. I love helping home buyers, especially first-time home buyers, because they are just, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, excited, and having fun. But then when they realize that there's a lot to it, I want to help guide them through the process and make sure it's as smooth and seamless as we can make it. So just a quick question. You can think about it in your heart, or if you're watching this later, you can tell me about it when you reach out. But how long have you actually been thinking about purchasing a home? A lot of the clients I work with have been cruising the internet and looking at houses and pictures of houses and posts about homes for months and months and months. And they only reach out to a real estate professional like myself or a mortgage professional like Dane after they've already found the house. Something I'm going to try to turn on its head is to actually have those people in your corner before you do all of that research and all of that digging and picking and finding the perfect home. I find that if you have somebody in your corner, it can help you kind of create a timeline. Even if you're not ready to buy this month or this week or this year even, having those partners and professionals working with you will help you kind of stay on track and stay organized as you go through this home buying journey. So if you've been thinking about it for a year, then it might be time to kind of create a solidified plan. If you think you may not buy for the next 6 months, that doesn't mean you need to be on your own. We're happy to help anybody who is the right fit for our clientele and people that enjoy our company and like hanging out with like-minded individuals. Most professionals will say, I'll take anybody, but for me, I like to work with clients who have the same energy as me. I like people who are positive and upbeat and have it ready to have an exciting time. Maybe not take things super seriously. I can get down into the nitty-gritty and definitely do the serious when it comes down to it, and it's important during the contract and negotiation time, and when it comes to inspections and things of that nature, I definitely am serious. But when it's just going out and showing houses, I want my clients to have a good time and have fun. I definitely connect with people who are energized and not so much of a Debbie Downer. How about you, Dane? What kind of client do you absolutely love to work with?
I love to work with the ones that are really excited to get the process going, really excited to get their approval started, because at least from the mortgage side, there's a lot of documents that are needed. So the more responsive the client is, the smoother process it ends up being, because there's a long list of documents up front that we're able to get them quickly. It just makes the whole process a lot faster.
Awesome. So I made some promises, and I wanted to make sure you guys know that I am here to help you and make this the best experience possible in terms of learning some new strategies. If you do stay until the end, you're going to get 2 gifts from us. The first gift is an insider's guide to a 15-day closing. Now, I don't know about you, but I didn't know that a 15-day closing was even possible when I was buying my first home. I think it was a 2 or 3 month process, because we were working with a builder and a realtor who didn't really put us as their first top priority. But Dane has some great intel and insider knowledge about how brand can help you get from the contract to the closing table in just about 15 business days. So that's really exciting gift. So if you do stay till the end, I'll tell you how you can get that. The second gift is a personalized rent versus own analysis. So that sounds really fancy, but all it is really just a talk with me and a walkthrough of a spreadsheet that I've created that really details, and you can make it completely personalized to your situation of whether it's right for you to rent or to own. In many cases, buying a property that is similar to the one you're currently renting is a better option for you than to keep paying your landlord every month and not building any equity or personal wealth. Especially if you have roommates. A strategy that I would recommend is actually buying a home and still living with your roommates. Have your roommates help pay your mortgage. So I'm going to offer you this gift of a personalized rent versus own analysis, which is basically a consultation with me as well as a spreadsheet where you can kind of change around the numbers to fit your specific situation. So hopefully you'll stay on this call until the end and find out how to receive those gifts. So here's another hypothetical question. Do you agree with the following? Today's market is different than just a few years ago, but there are still great deals in Jacksonville. Now, I moved back to Jacksonville in 2011, and I thought I got a great deal then. There are definitely still great deals to be had, but it's sort of a different market. It's shifted very ever so slightly over the last 4 or 5 years, and it is a different ballgame. There's not as many foreclosures and short sales out there ripe for the pickings like there were a few years ago. Now it's a little bit of a different ballgame in that it's a seller's market. The seller's market means that there's so many buyers and not a ton of sellers. So once a home goes up on the market and it's priced correctly, it usually gets snapped up. So those great deals are being purchased, but if you don't act and know what you're looking for and are poised and ready with the right team behind you, you may miss out on the perfect home that you've been kind of watching in the background for a while. What do you think, Dane? Do you agree with the fact that the market has changed over time?
Yes, absolutely. I think a lot of it's because there was so many people were hurt by the recession and couldn't buy for a long time, and now people are being able to buy and having the credit issues fixed that they had in the past. And just like you said, it's definitely a seller's market. I mean, there's so many people out there right now looking for homes that whenever a home is listed on the market, it seems to go very quickly.
If you have thoughts on this, feel free to type them in. I can see what you're saying in the chat box. Thank you so much for letting me know the sound is good. While I wait for those kind of responses, I want to introduce my buddy Dane. I have a quick bio from his Grand Mortgage website up here, but I will turn it over to him to introduce himself. He's a great guy, and hopefully he can help you in your home buying journey.
Hi, my name's Dane. I born and raised here in Jacksonville, live in the Mandarin area. I went to Episcopal High School, and then I went to Virginia Military Institute for college, where I majored in business and economics with a concentration in financial management. I've been in mortgages for a little over 4 years now, and I really like helping friends, family, and referrals from my referral partners. I love helping them buy homes. It's been a lot of fun over the past 4 years being able to do that.
Awesome. Thank you for taking the time to sit down with me and help people through the murky waters of what it takes to find the right financing for you as a buyer. So now let's talk about me. There I am. I started my career, so to speak, at Target. That was my first job in high school, and I actually have a real slide, but this I just love. Woohoo! Welcome to Target. I have a good sense of humor, I'd like to say, but I am a Jacksonville native, and I'm here to help. I've transitioned my career over time from corporate America into the residential real estate market. I have a huge passion for helping people who are excited and ready to move into their homes or ready to move into a different place that suits them. I've lived all over town within Jacksonville. I moved around growing up, not because we're a military family, but because we just had an itch every couple of years to change homes. So the first house I grew up in was actually right around the corner from the new Chick-fil-A on San Jose Boulevard. We moved to the south side. From there, we moved to Ortega, and we also lived in Mandarin. Now my parents have right-sized to Palm Coast, Florida. But through all that, I definitely learned all about the different parts of town, and definitely can speak to many areas of Jacksonville and have clients all around the Northeast Florida area, all the way from Yulee and Fernandina Beach down to Palm Coast. So I specialize in basically being a awesome realtor, not in a certain neighborhood. With the advancement of technology, you don't really have to be, the St. Johns County expert anymore. You can be an educated and great rock star realtor and know different parts of town because of all of the information that's available out there. One of my things that I have a claim is my Excel skills. So if you are struggling with an Excel spreadsheet, a lot of my friends come to me and email me their docs, and I help with their, formulas and making them a little bit, work a little bit better, or format prettier. I have a really huge, background in corporate finance, and that's actually what my degree is in. And I was getting burnout on the corporate culture. It was fun, it was exciting, it was tough, but I lost that feeling of being connected to who I was actually helping. So that's why I decided to transition into real estate. And that kind of also goes along with my upbringing as a tutor. I love helping people. I love helping people learn. And being a tutor was one of the things that helped teach me, people want to learn. It's just a matter of giving them the right tools and the right strategies to achieve their goals and get to their successes. The last thing a little bit about me is I'm a Florida Gator alumni. Met my husband on the front lawn of Swamp Restaurant, and we now own season tickets. It is a fun and exciting experience, but for now we've been through, the tough last couple of years. We are exhausted from our lack of a amazing team. I think we may buy season tickets to softball or baseball based on how they're doing right now in the College World Series. But I'm a Florida Gator girl, always been, always will be, and I'm really excited to meet new clients and help them through, even if they're Florida State fans. So you learned a little bit about us. Hopefully you can connect with us a little bit. We are just like you. We've been first-time home buyers. We have gone through the struggles and the stresses of being in that position. As professionals, we've seen the market shift a little bit from a real estate and housing perspective, as well as on the mortgage side. Dane mentioned he's been in the business 4 years. He's seen, the fallout from the recession and kind of the rebuild that we're seeing here in Jacksonville. So we want to, share our knowledge as both home buyers that we both own our homes now, as well as from the professional standpoint of real estate and, lending. So we both, have a desire and an excitement to learn, and we also want to teach. We wanted to kind of create this platform to help, reach out to our clients in a way that, there may be more, maybe they don't want to sit down or can't sit down. If you're sitting at your desk having lunch right now, you can still hang out with us and learn a little bit about what we're excited to talk with you. So from a buyer's point of view, I'm going to start with what it was like as a first-time home buyer. In the beginning, it was really, really hard. It was challenging. There's a lot of moving pieces as you buy a home. I'm sure you've kind of had anecdotes from friends or family that have bought or sold a home, or maybe you've gone through the process. You're not a first-time home buyer. Maybe you are trying to hone your skills for your second purchase or your third purchase or your 10th purchase. But if you don't have the knowledge and the kind of background of knowing what to expect, it can be really hard. I've put together some things just off the top of my head that are on your mind as a home buyer. Of course, you have the lending and the financing, which is a huge piece. I mean, that's the make or break it of buying a home. Can you actually afford it? Like that in and of itself can keep people up at night worrying about, do I have the money for a down payment? Am I, totally ready to take on this, huge financial investment? Some other things you have to worry about are insurance and title. So you may not even know what title is, but basically that's, who has a claim to the property. The person selling it to you, you hope that they are the actual true owners. So you have to hire a title insurance provider to, guarantee that they really can sell you the house. And, Sally from 1955 can't come back and say, this is my property. Some other things you have to think about are your home warranty. What if, you move into a, 10 or 15-year-old home and the air conditioning isn't brand new or hasn't been serviced? You don't have a home warranty, you're going to be in danger of not, having that added expense of a brand new AC unit, which, depending on the size of the property, it could be anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000 to replace. So again, everything kind of goes back to, what's it going to cost? There's a lot of hidden things that you want to think about and have on your radar as a home buyer. Of course, the home inspection is another really crucial piece of the contract process. You want to make sure you have a sound investment that you're about to, put a significant amount of your time, energy, and finances towards. So you want to make sure that the inspection goes well and you hire a qualified home inspector to give you an accurate report of what's going on in the home. There's contracts to deal with. There's a lot of legal documents on the real estate side and on the mortgage side. At the closing table, I've had as many as like 150 pieces of paper that you need to sign. So there's contracts, there's agreements, there's negotiations. There's a lot to handle, and if you don't have a quarterback like myself keeping you on point and keeping you on track with what to worry about next, you could get really overwhelmed really quickly. So one of the things that I offer all of my clients is a spreadsheet and a calendar to keep you on track of, today we can actually talk about and worry about the appraisal. Before today, the appraisal doesn't matter. After today, the appraisal does matter. So there's ways of staying, organized and staying on track as a home buyer. Specifically, having somebody in your corner to keep you on point is really important. And then the last 4 bullets are things that relate to the home itself. So, you have a homeowners association that you have to follow the rules for and pay the dues to on an annual basis. You may have a CDD. If you're in the St. Johns County area, that's where I live now, there is an added line item on your taxes that relates to the community infrastructure. So the roads, the utilities, the pool in your neighborhood are all governed, or many are governed by a CDD. So you have to understand what that means and what the impact is on your situation. You also have to coordinate movers, utilities, and what day's trash day. I still really haven't figured that out. I leave that to my husband. Like, hey, is it trash day? He's like, it's every Thursday. Well, guess what? The trash came today. So that really threw me for a loop. Some other things that I find a lot of buyers are thinking about are renovating and decorating. Well, I want to make sure that that's definitely on the forefront. I want you to have a Pinterest board or a house board that you love, the photos of this kitchen or this dining set or what have you. But again, we want to make sure you're putting the cart, not putting the cart before the horse. You want to worry about those things when the time is right after closing day. So those are just a couple of the things to keep track of and worry about and keep on your radar as you're buying a house. Even more stressful, that's after you found a house. So the most stressful thing we haven't even done yet if we're just getting started. So finding a perfect home that's still available is the struggle that a lot of my clients are facing right now. You'll see in red, those are a lot of the things that people are concerned about, or ideas or things that they find are must-haves or must-not-haves. So just having all of those ideas of, how big is the house? Where is the house? What are the amenities? Do I need to do lawn care? Is there a pool? Do they have updated appliances? What are the fixtures like? The countertops? Is there, a fancy guest bathroom? So all of those things are swirling around in my buyers' minds as well before they even get a contract. So that whole list that I showed you before, this one, those are things that you have to worry about after you've already found the house. So just kind of adding to all of the stress of being a home buyer, you have to find and win a house that you love before you can even get started with everything. So you can kind of see how that's all very kind of overwhelming and stressful, especially a first-time home buyer. Forget being a seasoned, you've bought 5 or 10 homes over the course of your lifetime. If you're doing this for the first time, there's, obviously, this is definitely one of the reasons why people get, stuck and worried and feel like they don't know where to start. Dane, I'd like to have you comment on some of the frustrations that you see from a lending perspective. I gave you a couple of ideas here, but feel free to talk a little bit more about these common frustrations.
When I talk to new clients initially, a lot of times they're nervous, excited, worried about the process, just not really sure where to start, and that's one of the things that I really like is kind of explaining that process to them. And one thing is that they're not really sure what they can afford. They don't know if they can afford a $75,000 house or a $200,000 house or whatever the case may be. They're also a lot of times concerned about the down payment. There's myths that you need 20% down to buy a home and stuff like that, and so that's a concern. Another thing is a lot of times, especially if someone hasn't been working with a realtor, is they find homes online and they fall in love with it, see all the pictures, and then only to find out it's under contract. And so a lot of these things kind of can make them feel like they're kind of alone in the process.
Definitely. I've helped more than a couple clients who originally were working with an agent who didn't give them enough of their time and attention. Also, people who were just getting started and didn't know exactly what order to do things in and who to talk to first. So having somebody like Dane or myself in your corner will help you stay on track and put the first things first. Our goal is to make this a seamless and easy and fun experience, because it should be. It should be, a system. It shouldn't just be a, crazy, not in tune symphony. It should be a beautiful symphony, and it should go really, really well when you have somebody who knows what they're doing, helping you and keeping you from being all alone. So if this sounds like you, definitely continue on and think about who is helping you right now. If you're on your own, are you giving yourself the best opportunity in terms of your experience? This is, it's a journey. I watch a lot of the Bachelor and Bachelorette. They always call it a journey. Oh, I'm on a journey to finding love. Well, you can think of it the same way when you're buying a home for the first time. You are on a journey to find your first place. It's an exciting time. You want to have some ups and downs along the way, but overall you are moving towards the goal of home ownership. So this, the frustrations you share, if you've had a lot of these same experiences, there's definitely a way that you can do it better and get some strategies to kind of improve and re-target yourself to the best experience and best closing day ever. So if you want to skip the learning curve and stop, struggling on your own and have an easier time, we definitely are here to help you with that. We mentioned it's going to be without breaking the bank. So, a lot of people, financing is that initial hurdle. And so, like I said, I promise we're going to do first things first. We're going to talk about the best strategies and best kept secrets in borrowing and getting the financing to make it an easier time. The first thing that you want to do is find out what you are able to purchase. Let's say you are, really excited about a home in Jack's Beach that's $350,000, and you think that that's, the place for you. If the financing isn't great, then you are already setting yourself back a few steps. So you want to have somebody in your corner helping you to make sure this is the most seamless experience ever. So this is just a quick disclaimer because we are talking about financing and loans and mortgages. I just wanted to share, Dane's Debbie Downer banker rules. Obviously we're here to give you the best information at this time, but just make sure that you reach out to us directly if you have a specific example or if you're looking for a loan pre-qualification. Very important that we have the entire picture to analyze before moving forward with a home purchase and a loan application. So every situation is different, and all the examples we talk about today are definitely hypothetical. They are made up, and we will encourage you to reach out to us to get that personalized service that we offer all of our clients. Right. So are you ready for the secrets? We have 3 secrets I'd like to share with you about how not to break the bank. All right, so here are 3 secrets we have from Dane, and he's going to give us that insider intel about what it takes to actually move forward with buying a home without breaking the bank.
So is a lot of times when I talk to people and it's their first home, I mean, they think that they need to be making an insane amount of money in order to buy that home, which really isn't the case, and we'll talk about that here in a second. Another thing is perfect credit. I mean, you obviously want to have as good a credit as possible, but I mean, you don't have to have an 800 credit score in order to buy a home. Another common misconception is savings. I mean, a lot of times, like you're not required to put 20% down. I mean, you can put as low as 3% down, and then we're going to go into some other programs that are set in place here in the state of Florida to even help you with that 3%. So secret number 1, as far as needing a huge income in order to qualify for a loan, the 2 important factors are your monthly debt and your monthly income. Most loan programs allow for a debt-to-income ratio all the way up to 45%. And that is based on your minimum monthly payment. So if you owe $5,000 on a credit card and you're thinking that, oh, I don't know if I can qualify for a home because of this $5,000 credit card that I have, well, we look at your minimum monthly payment, which, I mean, on a $5,000 credit card, it might be $50 a month. So the $50 a month is what we look at, and basically I total up all those minimum monthly payments as well as your proposed housing payment in order to calculate that debt-to-income ratio. And I included a little example. You know, if you make $5,000 a month, your minimum monthly payments cannot exceed $2,250. So pretty simple math. Just 45% of whatever your gross monthly income is. Another thing is as far as needing an 800 credit score, that's not the case. The program that we're kind of highlighting today, the Florida Bond Program, it allows for a FICO score as low as 640. And what the FICO is it's the middle of your 3 scores. So if I pulled, just use easy numbers, 3 scores, and they were 670, 680, and 690. Well, 680 is what I would use because that was the middle score or FICO score. Even if you are below 640, you wouldn't necessarily be able to use the Florida Bond, but there are other loan programs that allow for credit scores below 640. And another thing that's important too is in order to get the process going for me to kind of tackle things early, is I can rescore your credit. If you come back at 633, you might be able to pay off something or pay down something and get above 640. And then there's other loan programs, like for example, a FHA loan, which allows for a FICO score as low as 600.
So rescoring your credit, does that mean that you add points to their credit score, or how does that work?
So basically, if someone's real close as far as their credit score, I can kind of use a what if simulator that I have through my bank and a company called Credit Plus that we work with, and kind of see what they could potentially do in order to raise their credit score. And basically, say if it was paying $500 down on a car. If the client sent in proof that they had paid down the car by $500, I can get the form for Credit Plus, have them sign that, send it to Credit Plus, and then it usually takes about 3 to 5 business days, depending on the bureau, to get that credit rescored.
Cool. So basically, if your credit is not where you want it to be, you're saying you can help advise your clients on how to get it back on track and get it to a place where they would qualify?
Right. I mean, kind of coach them through that process as far as improving it. I mean, I'm not a credit expert by any means, but I can surely give advice and kind of screenshot items on their credit report and kind of say, like, this is what's going on. This might be what's causing your score to be a little bit lower, because it's strange. I mean, I've seen credit reports with somebody that you know, they make all their payments on time, but maybe they have too many accounts, or maybe it's the reverse and they only have one credit card and they don't use it enough. So I mean, after seeing a lot of credit reports through the years, I can kind of advise as to what I think might be the issue and what could help them get to that next tier.
Cool. I find a lot of my clients, they want to look at homes, but they're also worried about their credit. So it's good to be able to send them to you to help improve or let them know that they actually do qualify for certain programs. That's really neat.
And then another secret is you don't need a ton of savings in order to buy your first home. The program, the Florida Bond Program, what this allows for is, for the time being, you get up to $10,000 towards down payment assistance. That goes towards your down payment, closing costs, prepaids for taxes and insurance. It is actually dropping here soon to $7,500. So I mean, best to try and get in your contracts before it drops by 25%. But even at $7,500, I mean, that's a ton of money to help with your initial out-of-pocket expense at the closing. And another thing that I touched on earlier, as far as I mean, you can take out what's called a conventional loan with 3% down. And the reason that I always advise my clients to take out a conventional loan opposed to what's called an FHA loan, if possible, is because with a conventional loan, your PMI will generally fall off your loan after the 5-year mark. Whereas with an FHA loan, no matter where you are as far as equity with the property, you'll always have mortgage insurance. Another thing that's pretty cool about the Florida Bond Program is the PMI benefits that are associated with the program, the mortgage insurance benefits. Your premiums generally half or probably two-thirds about of what your premium would be if you didn't use the Florida Bond, which is pretty cool. Another thing, as far as regarding out-of-pocket expenses at the closing, is you can ask the seller to credit you for some of those closing costs. So Shay can put in an offer and say, hey, we want 3% seller credit towards cost. That's the maximum that you can go. It's 3%, but that could be another thing that can help you at the closing.
So what the bond program, it seems like it defrays some of the costs associated with putting money down towards the 3%. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Right. Basically, it's $10,000 at 0% for 30 years. So what it is it's a second lien on the property, but it's at 0%. So I mean, obviously, like most people, I mean, their income slowly increases. And so, I mean, right now, $10,000 might be a ton of money, it seems, to come out of pocket for at the closing that you'd like to save. And then, down the road, when you go to sell the house, that'll be paid off at the closing. That second lien will be eliminated when you go to sell. So it just helps you up front as far as minimizing your initial out of pocket expense. And then some just kind of a brief overview of the Florida Bond. It's reducing your out-of-pocket expense at the closing. You're able to build equity in a home opposed to renting. I mean, you're putting a portion of your payment towards principal each month, which is almost like putting money into a savings account or putting money into a 401k. And as long as you live there for 2 years, I mean, you don't pay capital gains tax if it's been your primary residence for 2 years. And then there's also some tax advantages depending on your bracket, or you got to consult your CPA. But regarding writing off interest on your tax returns, on mortgage interest.
Very cool. So yeah, Dane definitely didn't want to give tax advice. If you have any tax questions, feel free to reach out to your local CPA. I may know one or two in the area who are very, very good and may share my last name. I don't know. I'm just saying.
And here's an example. Kind of 200,000 is a sweet spot with the Florida bond program, just because. I mean, 3% of that, 6,000. I mean, you ballpark your closing costs and prepaids around 4,000, and I mean, you could just see through this example right here that $10,000 is helping with that down payment, the closing costs, and really, I mean, you're coming out of pocket for your initial earnest money deposit, but that's about it, at least in this particular example.
So for people who are already spending $1,000 a month on rent, if they can save just $1,000 and put it towards a binder deposit, then that's all that they're coming out of pocket when they or you will actually buy your home. So another cool thing that not a lot of renters know about is that when you buy a home, let's say you closed, Jane, you have a closing today, right? June 5th. When would be the borrower's first payment?
So for a June 5th closing, the borrower's first payment is not late until after August 15th. So you can go all the way up until August 15th to make your payment and not be late, because even though mortgage payments are due on the 1st, they are not late until the 15th. And so, I mean, even though you're coming out of pocket $1,000, which is a lot of money, I mean, you kind of have some time to rebuild your savings, because you're not going to have a payment for a while, depending on when you close in the month. But the general rule of thumb is that whatever month that you're closing, the next month you skip that month, because interest on mortgages is paid in arrears, which means that when you make your July mortgage payment, you're paying for the interest in June.
I just blacked out a little bit. You said arrears, and I zoned out.
It just means that you're paying for the previous month. So you know, you go to make your July payment, you're paying for June's interest, and that's how the loan interest is calculated on a mortgage.
So bottom line, you close in June, you don't actually need to pay your mortgage until August.
Right.
Cool. That's exciting. That's another insider tip that I know a lot of my buyers don't know until we share it with them.
And right now, I mean, rates are still at historical lows. I mean, I know talking to my parents, they said that when they took out their first mortgage, I think it was at 18%, and they thought that was a good rate. And now, I mean, you're seeing rates in like the mid 3s, high 3s, low 4s here over the past couple years, which is just really, really low. And what that does is it gives the buyers more purchasing power, because with a lower rate, you can afford more house. When the rates start to go back up to 5, 5.5, 6%, you're not going to be able to afford as expensive of a house, just because that's going to affect that debt to income ratio that we talked about earlier. With a higher interest rate, obviously a little bit higher monthly payments, and now's a great time to buy from a borrowing perspective, because it's cheap money right now.
Thank you so much. That's awesome information. I hope you guys took notes on the Florida Bond program. Fear not if you didn't. We will absolutely be able to follow up with you one-on-one. To stay a little bit longer, you will be able to see our contact info, and you can reach out to us. I promise to keep you guys organized and on track. So the step-by-step process, this is sort of my really, really skeleton version of how the process goes. Obviously, there's subtopics and checklists under each of these check marks, but in order of operations, first things first, you want to get pre-qualified for your loan. So you may be looking at houses and asking me to show houses to you. I want to make sure that all of my clients are pre-qualified before we go and check out those homes. Of course, drive by, get to know the area, get to know the neighborhood, but before you fall in love with the house, I want to make sure we are all on the same page in terms of what your financial status is, and Dane will take good care of you. I believe the pre-qual is about 15 minutes on the phone. He can help walk you through any issues he may have or any additional questions that he has. I'll also show you at the end a link to his personal website where you can actually apply online and get a response back within about a business day. So that's definitely step number one. Step number two, once we have that pre-qualification, we can find the perfect home together. So I have a ton of systems and a ton of opportunities for my clients to, create a personalized search for you to find exactly what you're looking for. Once we narrow it down on an online front, we then go out on the road and we have some fun in our cars showing houses. I don't like to take my clients around all day on a Saturday or all day on a Sunday. I find that you just get confused and overwhelmed with so many options. So we narrow it down to 3 to 5 homes, and from there we either say we love these 2 or these 3, or none of these worked. Let's go back to the drawing board and find another set to go look at on a different day. Once we do find that perfect home, you'll go under contract. I write you an ironclad, amazing contract with contingencies that help you to get out. If it's not if the inspection doesn't go well, you don't lose that binder deposit. So a lot of people think, oh, I'm putting $1,000 down. If the inspection doesn't go well, do I lose that money? No. If the inspection comes up with something like there's a huge problem with the AC, or a huge problem with the foundation or the structure or the plumbing, or the roof has a leak or a major leak, you're able to get out of that contract in the first 10 days. So fear not in terms of taking action, because I will protect you through the process and through an awesome contract. The next step is to apply for your loan. This is different than actually getting pre-qualified, because Dane will ask you for all kinds of documents and documentation and information in order to send to his team to get you approved for your mortgage. So the pre-qualification and application are 2 separate steps. Obviously, we talked about the inspection to protect your investment, both your binder deposit as well as the huge investment that is the home you're going to purchase. The next step is title, and I can talk with you a little bit about that later. The appraisal is another portion of the financing. That both of those things must be in place and go well in order to move forward. If something is funky with the title and somebody who owned the home had a great-grandchild who came out of the woodwork and is claiming that the property belongs to them, then that is another contingency that we can use to find a better home or a better fit for you. And once we have everything finalized and the loan is approved and we get to the closing table, I have a hashtag that I use on my social media, hashtag closing day, where I take pictures of my happy clients, I take pictures of the house, I buy you guys fun treats and gifts. I've even entertained babies at the closing table with funny faces and my iPad. Whatever it takes to get to that end result and happy customers is definitely priority number 1. So like I said, I want to keep you on track and keep you organized and be your quarterback throughout this whole process. There's a lot of moving parts and a lot of transaction parties that we have to, keep informed, and you are first and foremost the client, and you should not be worrying about things that professionals like me and Dane can handle. So some pro tips and some secret strategies that I want to share with you now. I've already touched on some of them, but getting your home search organized and narrowing down to the area that you want to live in and be in is definitely very, very important. I think that goes hand in hand with having that quarterback. The real estate agent like myself could be your quarterback. Your lender could be your quarterback. If you're Dane's best friend, then you want to have him as your main point of contact. He's going to take care of you and help you to get introduced to the main people who will help you through the process. We definitely have held a lot of hands and worked with a lot of buyers who just need that extra little moral support, and we're definitely here to be that coach and quarterback throughout the process. Educate yourself about the market. There's definitely some things to know about Riverside or know about a certain street in Jax Beach. You can learn it the hard way by just trying to figure it out on your own, or you could go to experts like us and find out what's going on in this neighborhood, and why have sales risen so quickly, and what are the average days on market for a home in this specific zip code. I have those answers to those questions, and I'm happy to help you learn about your desired neighborhood and desired area, really get educated about what is a fair price in that neck of the woods. Save, save, save. This whole presentation was about how you can actually bootstrap and borrow without breaking the bank. But it's always a good idea to save and have a nest egg for, new furniture, or, if something happens with your appliances, you have to have a handyman come out and fix your fridge. I think when we moved into our first house, we had a fridge that we bought brand new, but we had to get serviced multiple times because there was no ice. When you move into St. Johns County in the middle of summer, you need ice, period, end of story. Another pro tip is to have a sort of a pre-inspection at your showings. Now, this doesn't mean hiring a home inspector to take pictures and to do a full inspection when you're just going to see a house for the first time. But there's 4 things I want you to think about when you are actually in the home and taking a look at certain things. I mean, most buyers look at the layout, they look at the floors, and they decide if they like the paint color and the fixtures in the kitchen and bathrooms. But the 4 things that can be really big ticket items are the roof, the electricity, the AC, and the plumbing. So you can write that down if you are not taking notes. The roof, the plumbing, the AC, and the electrical. So even if you're not a home inspector, there's ways of knowing how old or how great those items are. Definitely turn on all the lights. Check out the plugs. Bring a phone charger with you and plug in your phone charger. Make sure some of the outlets work. If it's a 2-prong outlet and the electrical panel is really tiny, it's likely that that is an older home that hasn't had its electrical wiring upgraded recently. 3-prong outlet is a good indicator that it's been rewired. Obviously, the inspector will confirm that, but that's one way of knowing about the electricity. The roof, if there's shingles that are folded up or don't look completely flat when viewed from the outside, that's an indication that the roof is older. There's also ways of finding out when the last time a roof was put on the house, when the last time the AC was put in. You go to the inside AC unit, there's a closet with the AC handler in every home. Most of them are easy to find. Take a look at the sticker on the front. You'll be able to see what year it was installed. Sometimes it's written in Sharpie, sometimes it's just written on the sticker. But your agent should be able to tell you, hey, this AC is this old. You can also just crank the AC while you're in the house and make sure it gets cool in there. So there's things that you can do to kind of protect yourself before you even put in an offer on a home that maybe is a little bit older or you think needs some work or fixing up. I've also worked with some clients who think that they want a fixer-upper, but after doing just one of these pre-inspections, they decide they want something that's fully renovated or brand new construction, because it's just not for everybody, fixing up homes and dealing with contractors and all that jazz. So yeah, pro tips. I want to definitely share with you guys the whole picture and help you, keep everything on point and on track as you take that journey of home ownership. I'm going to try to show you a quick video of my friends Joey and Monica. It should play. Let's see. These two were just awesome. They were so cute. They've been married just a couple of years, and as you can see, Joey's in the medical field, and he and Monica wanted to live close to the beach, and they were on a limited budget. So we had to find the perfect home for them that was a good, combination of things they know they wanted to fix up versus things that they were okay that just got replaced. So The homeowner had just replaced the carpet upstairs. She did a lot of work in the patio and the back porch, as well as upstairs. So if you had trouble hearing that video, I will post it on YouTube as well. But they were just awesome. I did not pay them for that review. I'll send you a link for their testimonial as well as Ashlyn's. I think that embedding the video in this presentation did not work, so I apologize for that. Let's see. All right, so hopefully that kind of wraps things up. Hopefully you did learn some new strategies for your home purchase, and you can put to work some of the organizational skills and ideas that Dane shared with us today. I really want to thank you, Dane, for being an awesome resource for my clients and for your clients as well. I think a lot of people don't know what's out there until they have conversations with us, and it's not always easy to share the news as it is here on this webinar. So I really like this platform for spreading the good news. Now I'm going to take you on a quick walkthrough of how to contact us. I'm going to show you Dane's website. The links are here. If you want to type them into your browser, now you can turn your phone back on and open a new tab. But Dane's direct website is brandmortgage.com/agent/Dane, DANE-Addison. So you click on his link right here, and I'll show you how easy it is to get pre-qualified for a mortgage. So here is his site. You can click on the Apply Now button. There's Dane. Hi, Dane. And it takes you to a online portal through his company that you can actually put in your information, and it's taking a little bit of time to load. But Dane, you just want to talk about the couple of things that they would need to put in place in order to get started?
Yeah, well, I mean, one thing, I mean, if you feel comfortable doing online, I mean, you can do that. I mean, it's pretty quick, or we can meet up in person for coffee and do it then, or you could come by my office, whatever's easiest for you. But basically, once you get on the site, I mean, it's real basic information as far as, I mean, first name, last name, middle initial, social security number, birth date, that sort of thing. It'll ask who your current employer is, how long you've worked there, roughly how much you have in your bank account or 401k. It'll ask you some declarations questions, like whether you're in a lawsuit or whether you've foreclosed upon a home in the past, or if you intend this to be your primary residence, investment property. But it's pretty user friendly. And again, I mean, there's multiple ways to apply. It doesn't necessarily have to be on the website. But one thing that's important is that I do need the credit authorization in order to pull credit for you. And you can either click the credit authorization via the website, or you can submit a form to me signed via scan, email, fax, whatever's easiest, authorizing me to do the initial credit pull.
Cool. And then I also put my site here as well as my phone number. It's 904-479-TUNA, as in yellowfin tuna, TUNA, or 8862. That's my direct line. You can also text that. It's my Google Voice number. So you can text it to me and I'll receive it and text you right back. A lot of our clients typically will do, are very tech savvy and don't want to talk on the phone, and that's totally okay. I'm happy to text with you until the time is right to meet in person and, get going as far as doing home showings and things like that. So it looks like that is it for today. That's me. Hello. Thank you so much for joining in the fun. If anybody has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat box right now, and we can answer them live. If not, feel free to call us back on, not call us back, email, or call us back via our website. So we'd be happy to share any other insights or information that we may have for y'all. And I just want to thank you again for joining in this webinar. Really appreciate it. And I don't see any questions coming through right this moment. So if you have questions and you are burning to get them answered, just go ahead and call me. If you want to reach out to Dane, just call or text me and I will put you in touch with him. And we will be here waiting for y'all to reach out and help you on your home journey. As I like to say, it's got to be really fun, or else why would anybody else do it? So with that said, TGIF, have a happy weekend, and you guys stay safe and enjoy your weekend. Thanks.